What's going on, everybody? It's your man Matt on a Jaffe with Jaffe Cycling, here with another Bike Talk Tuesdays. Now today we're going to be discussing one of the most commonly used parts of your bicycle. Some people even think it's the most important. We're talking handlebars, guys. So today I want to jump right into it because there's four main types of handlebars that I was hoping to discuss with you guys. We'll start off first by talking about your flat bars. Then second, we'll discuss the risers. Third, let's talk a little bit about the bullhorn handlebars, and then my personal favorite, the drop bars. Now, understanding exactly what type of handlebar you have and what would actually be the best fit for you is going to be significantly important. Each handlebar serves as a different purpose depending on what type of bike you're riding and also where you most likely are to ride. Let's jump right into it with number one, the flat bar. Now, the flat bar may be the most well-known handlebars of all those that were mentioned earlier. The flat bar is going to be the most cost-effective. They're typically the cheapest handlebars in the market. The flat bar also is going to be a bit of an aggressive ride for a lot of my mountain bikers, a lot of my hybrids, and then trail bike riders as well. But it's going to give our riders a more upright position. So if you're an individual who actually suffers from lower back pains or just any type of posture discomfort at all, the flat bars may be a pretty good choice for you. The flat bars, however, one of the negatives, when it comes to some of those longer rides, they typically tend to have riders having a little bit of pain in their wrist. So if you're an individual who's noticed some pains in your wrist, it may be time for you to change or switch over to what I'm going to next, the riser bars. The riser bars are very similar to the flat bar. In fact, a lot of times you won't be able to tell the difference just by looking at them. What the riser is, they actually come in millimeters in terms of their rise, the extension. So you'll notice that they have an angle where they start out pretty flat here in the beginning and then they start to raise as they go up. The flat bar itself, what's really good about these is that as it goes up in an angle, it actually fits right into the palm of your hand. So understanding that for my riders who are mountain bikers, who are hybrids, if you're noticing that you're having more of a muscle fatigue in the wrist itself, it may be time to switch over to one of the riser bars. You're still going to get that upright position. In fact, it'll be more of an upright position. So depending on how you look at that, that could be either a pro or a con for individuals who are looking to sit up more right or looking for more of an aggressive form. The riser bars also, you may notice, they're actually going to be a bit wider as well than your flat bar. Now, having a wider handlebar makes cornering really nice. So if you're going through some of those really technical trails, having a wider handlebar may really help on your steering. Now, you also have to remember, with a wider handlebar, that does take a little bit of the sensitivity off of your front wheel. So you won't necessarily feel certain turns as much as you would with a flat bar. Let's jump into the bullhorn. Now, the bullhorn is definitely going to be one of those handlebars that a lot of riders see on a lot of the fixies or single speeds. That's typically where you'll see it, but you may see them on some road bikes as well. The bullhorns give you a much more aggressive ride in comparison to your flat and your riser bars, but they're not the most aggressive form. The bullhorns also give you 3 different handle placements, which for some individuals can definitely help with the wrist. So you have more of a narrow feel, you can definitely grip them on the side, and then some people tend to grip them up top, which would still give you that elevated posture for those individuals who suffer from back problems. The bullhorns, again, they're not the most expensive, but they're also not the cheapest as well. So they are definitely right in the middle as far as a sweet spot on the budget. Let's jump into the favorites. My favorite is going to be your drop bars. Now, I know a lot of people want to talk about the aero bars and things like that. We'll definitely discuss that for a later time. But for our traditional drop bar, you'll typically see those on your road bikes, a lot of your gravel bikes as well, and especially some of our time trial bikes also. This right here, what we have today, is actually a reverse handlebar. I think in order for me to talk more about the handlebar, we got to switch this around. I'm getting like a real Maleficent type of vibe here. They got to go. All right, and now we're back. And just like that, we've even changed out the color of the handlebar tape as well. Got the shifters on the right locations. I think we're good to go with this drop bar now. So the drop bar is actually my personal favorite of all the handlebar types. It's typically going to be for your riders who like to go a relatively longer distance in their rides. For individuals riding 20 miles or plus, you'll typically see them with drop bars. Very similar to the flat bar, you can definitely place your hands here in the center near the stem of the bike. They also have the rounded edges. So similar to your bullhorn, you can actually place your hands on the outside of the actual handlebar. And then there's also the portion where you can actually place your hands in between the brake and shift levers as well, similar to the bullhorn. But unlike any of the other handlebars, there's this dropping portion here. So placing your hands here puts the rider at a much more aggressive form, ultimately being more aerodynamic, causing the rider to go faster. So the benefit of having a drop bar is definitely going to come down to your time, speed, and efficiency. One of the biggest cons is going to be being in such an aerodynamic and aggressive form. It's definitely going to put some wear and tear on your lower back. So if you're an individual who's very cautious of muscle fatigue in their lower back, the drop bar is definitely not going to be something you want to recommend. It's also a bit more on the expensive side in comparison to the other handlebars that were mentioned today. But like I said, she is a beauty. The other thing that is a real big benefit using the drop bars is the option to change out the tape. Being able to change out the handlebar tape can ultimately give your bike a completely different and new feel, depending on what color or style you decide to go with. Well, that about wraps it up. So we went over a total of 4 different types of handlebars that you'll typically see while you're out on the road. The one thing that I really wanted to point out to you guys is that cycling is a preference-based sport. So it's all about your personal comfort. Each of these handlebars have a ton of pros, but they've also got some cons. So it's up to you to figure out which one works best for you. I look forward to you guys leaving your comments and feedback in the section below. Make sure to subscribe and click that button if you haven't done so already. We'll continue to drop hints, tips, and hacks for all of your cycling needs. As always, see you on the trail. Peace.